Hi. I haven't had an opportunity on the internet to fully express myself yet, both because of a mixture of my old habits and fears due to trauma, and because there were still some people who weren't letting me do what I wanted to, and I had to be clearer and more firm about setting boundaries and what I need. I have made things on here and posted them, but it's been overly filtered. And I always made things with the idea that I had to pick something I liked that I made that others would like also, and that wouldn't make anyone mad at me. And also not show that I made things that I thought could potentially make someone mad at me. I'm still getting used to talking. I was never able to talk much. I wasn't allowed to talk by my parents, or by teachers, or by people at church. And sometimes, in the case of church and school, things got physical. And without going into details, I've gotten used to a feeling that when I speak up, it means pain or other forms of retribution. With that out of the way, while we are in traumatic situations, we might not be allowed to see much content without it being restricted, or trained through the lens that the people in control of us might see it through. Now that I'm an adult, I'm able to choose a lot more of what I can see and discover more about what I like, and about how I feel about things. A lot of your voice is your emotions in relation to your experiences and the world around you. When you're in an environment where you're not allowed to talk about or think about a lot of things, it can be hard to find out what you like. There's an attitude of people like us don't watch those things, or we all agree that X, Y, and Z, whatever X, Y, and Z is, are good and mandatory things, or that X, Y, and Z are bad things innately. And people also might say things like, of course you don't feel that way. No one does. That sort of thing doesn't exist. It can be suffocating and terrifying to be in a situation like that. And even when you do see something that makes you ponder about the situation that you're in, or how the world looks like outside of your box, it's brushed off, because that's not the right way to view what you just saw. It's funny because even when you can see something, there's the assumption that we can only interpret it in one acceptable way. Here's the thing though, it kind of doesn't matter what they said you were allowed to think or feel. I mean, it's horrible training that is incredibly painful and wrong and traumatic, but regardless of what they said that you could and could not think, or what you could and could not feel, your emotions were still there. And how you felt about how things existed, even when you told yourself otherwise, because you had to stay safe, it's all still there, because they can't take that away from you. No one can. You can't even take it away from yourself. It's your human experience, and it's your life. And now it feels kind of strange. It feels strange to now be able to admit to yourself what you think, regardless of what you are allowed to say, and regardless of what you are required to say. I can now draw whatever I want. There were so many things that should not be made taboo that were made taboo. It's hard to make art when there's people over your shoulder dictating whether or not some subjects look too scary, or whether some subjects are too sad, or whether they don't match whatever personal preference of fashion standards, or cuteness, or whatever they feel like should be or should not be in a picture. Goose stepping around vague and ever-changing boundaries is not truly making art. And I firmly believe that you cannot truly make art if you are in an environment where you're constantly stressing about stepping on lines that you do not know are fully there, and are constantly worrying about whether or not things will be fine or perceived as fine for you to make. Art is whatever you feel conveys your experience in that moment. In that moment, whatever you need is art. And you are not obligated to show your art to anyone, by any means. And no one is required to like your art in turn. But I feel like it's important to feel free to create, unbound by others' whims. Otherwise, are you actually making anything? Are you actually truly making anything if the picture that you put on a page and the words that you write down are just things that someone else told you to draw or to say? Or is it just kind of hollow? It's just another requirement, and it's just another mask. No one can stop me. No one is going to stop me. It feels confusing. It still feels like someone is going to come over my shoulder and hit me really hard on the head, or stop me from doing this, or yell at me, but no one will. I'm gradually learning that no one is there anymore. It's hard to get out of old habits, and it's wonderful to be able to explore new things. It doesn't really matter if anyone sees this or not, but I feel like it's important to do it anyways. It's important to go through the action of making things just to show myself that I can. So, whether you are new to seeing me or watching my stuff, or have been watching what I make for a while, or whether you are me checking in on the past from a place that I have not arrived at yet, hello and hello again to who I really am. I'm excited to see you. I'm eager to meet you and learn more about you, and learn more about how to more fully be who I am. And anyone else who isn't okay with that can go ahead and shove it. If you are also learning what your voice is after childhood trauma, or adult trauma, or whatever you are going through, welcome. Everyone is welcome on this journey, and everyone can take their own pace and route in doing so. Whatever you speaking up for yourself and discovering yourself is valid. Whether it's painting, or writing, or making YouTube videos, or just going out and wearing whatever clothes that you like, or being more honest about how you feel and what you think, and ignoring what other people say, you do that. Any form of self-expression can be scary after trauma, and everyone has to learn how to do it in their own way. Thank you.